have a newsletter. I have, of course, the podcast. I will occasionally give free resume workshops, which bring in some people. And sometimes that leads to sort of a secondary contact because they were helped with the resume. There's so much more to a career transition than just a resume, but that's the piece everybody worries about the most. So, one of the things that I do in my resume workshops is I kind of explain there's more.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to Career Coaching Secrets podcast. Today, my guest is Vanessa Jackson, a career transition coach, trainer, entrepreneur, and founder of Phoenix Rising Coaching and Teachers in Transition. Vanessa helps burned out educators navigate the leap from the classroom to careers where they can thrive without starting over. With a background in both education and business, she brings a unique blend of empathy and strategic insight to every client she supports. Whether it's resume help, mock interviews, or unlocking teachers' untapped potential for roles in project management, training, or customer success, Vanessa is here to guide the way. Vanessa, I'm so excited to have you here. Let's talk about helping educators rise.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Vanessa, tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to become a career coach.
I started off as an educator. I taught for 25 years, and teaching is not an easy career, and the world has not made it easy to be a teacher. And I found myself leaving education. And I actually worked with teachers in transition as a client and started to work in the world of contingent staffing for a very large company. And because no job is permanent, I was laid off from that position about the time that the original founder and owner of Teachers in Transition was looking to retire. And she reached out and said that I had understood her business and what the program was better than many of the other clients. And she wondered if I was interested in buying it, which I was. So I bought the business, and I felt that with my skills as a teacher and my skills in contingent staffing, because I worked as a go-between, not exactly a recruiter, but I would go between the people that we hired and the people we hired them for. And so I had a lot of skills that I felt would be applicable to potential clients. And so I dove in and have really been enjoying it ever since. I love helping other teachers.
Nice. And how did the journey look like after you started this, like after you went full into your coaching business?
I believe the phrase is drinking from the fire hose. So, Teachers in Transition started off, it had a podcast in place already. So, that was the first thing that I picked up. So, I learned podcasting. I edit my own podcasts. I take care of all of that myself and come up with the content and whatnot. And I was struggling initially with clients. So, I signed up for a course to sort of help me with that a little bit. And once I had all of the electronic and the tech pieces in place, then I started to pick up some clients, and I've just been scaling ever since. It's been very much a learn as I go process, as everything in life is. And it's it's been easy because everything is changing so quickly. I feel that we're all learning as we go as coaches in a changing environment.
And we always learn from other coaches as well in this journey. Do you also like have other coaches you connect with or just to learn from?
I actually do. I have a small group of coaches that I interact with regularly. They're not career coaches, but they are coaches in the coaching space. One of them is Donna King with 360 Balanced Living. She works with women finding balance in midlife. And then also Robin Owens, who does public speaking coaching. She's based out of New Zealand. But we kind of work together and we support each other. And it's been really valuable to have that connection.
Hmm. Nice. And you personally, you mentioned you work mostly with educators, right? That is kind of the ideal client that you're focused on.
I do. I jokingly tell people that I run an underground railroad for teachers. It's not the sort of thing that I can set up at the beginning of the year district fair and put up signs that says, "Who wants out? Follow me." So it's not the sort of thing that people advertise that they're looking for. In fact, a lot of the clients that I work with rely a lot on discretion, since if it were to come out how eagerly they are looking to leave, that could come back and cause them problems from their administration, their managers in the classroom. So I have a lot of referral, word of mouth is where I find a lot of clients. And of course, the podcast, because people will tune in and look around and Google search. I've been moving higher and higher in the Google searches, which has been nice.
Cool. I was just gonna ask you, where do you find your clients, or like what marketing channel is working best for you right now?
So I have a newsletter. I have, of course, the podcast. I will occasionally give free resume workshops, which bring in some people. And sometimes that leads to sort of a secondary contact because they were helped with the resume. There's so much more to a career transition than just a resume, but that's the piece everybody worries about the most. So, one of the things that I do in my resume workshops is I kind of explain there's more to it than just this, but here is this. And we kind of get going. I am a believer in writing your own resume. I know there are amazing resume writers out there, but in a world where we have to tailor them to the job descriptions and we have to be so specific, you really need to have that skill on your own.
And I can
More
imagine.
lessons. Go ahead.
No, sorry, you can go ahead.
Just, other lessons learned the hard way from because applicant tracking systems are a thing. I've actually worked in an applicant tracking system, so I have seen just how poorly they parse resumes, and I've seen just what a bad job that they do. I used to be very excited if it gave me a confidence rating of 70%, and even at that I was going in and fixing at least half of it.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you, so I'm guessing uh, that you do these workshops using the audience that you have on your newsletter, right?
I will put things out on Facebook, and I have my personal page, and they will tell friends. I have a lot of educators on my page. I participate in a lot of Facebook groups, and so I will just sort of leak out that this is happening and ask people to share with their friends. Because again, everybody knows a teacher who is tired of being in the classroom, who feels overwhelmed, stressed out, burned out, and wants out. And so we just get that information passed around, and I will have people come. Sometimes, not, of course, not everybody that registers appears, but I always make sure that I share the link with them so that they can get to it later if they would like to. And some of those turn into further leads, and some of them I just know that I've helped, which is my ultimate goal, is to help make a better environment for teachers, whether that is at the school they're at or elsewhere. And so I just know that I have done some helping that way. And in fact, when I was incorporating my business name, Phoenix Rising, this is a second act for so many teachers. I have teachers who have taught for just a few years. I have many teachers who have taught 15, 20, 25 years who just can't do it anymore. And so they are looking at making this big shift in their second act of life. And so a phoenix, and I've used a blue phoenix actually in my logo because blue is a hotter fire.
And people register basically from Facebook, they or either the newsletter, and they get into the workshop. There are other ways they could find this.
The podcast brings in some people, and I do have a very large list. And oftentimes, the people on that list will share information and forward it to other people. It's very word of mouth, actually. And it's been a little bit of a struggle scaling upward and establishing my reputation in the heels of else when you take over a business like that. But it has been growing and scaling pretty steadily, which has been very nice. Which has been about the rate that I can handle given my learning curve with all of the new skills that I've been picking up, because it was last April when I realized I was missing out on a lot of information about running a business. And I signed up, will actually finish my MBA here at the end of summer. And I joined a business course for coaching and whatnot. And that has been very helpful as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any goals you're working towards for the next 1 to 3 years with this coaching business?
I do. So I am working towards creating a DIY course, because not everybody wants to work with me. Most of my client hours are in the evenings because people have jobs and they would not want somebody walking by hearing what we're working on and knowing that they would want out of the classroom. So a lot of people would like to be self-paced about it as well. So I'm working on getting uh, the workbooks and the DIY courses so that they can walk through self-paced. And if they were to find that they wanted that one-on-one coaching afterwards, we could do that as well. I'm also looking at adding a Substack here soon. I have been becoming increasingly active on Blue Sky, and because it's new and so it's not quite as wild west yet, and we'll see. It's hard to know exactly what's happening with TikTok, so it's hard to invest there right now, given the fact that it may or may not be banned. There is a new platform coming up called Neptune, which might be a place that takes its place. It'll really be interesting to see what steps into that space. I've been trying to save my energies for things that might actually, I am saving my energies for things that look like they'll be around later until we know more about TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Do you do a lot of video content?
That is also something that I am branching into. I have been a little reticent with the video that I'm working on that part. So I will be making video content, and I am looking at branching out for that. As you can see, my back busy. So that's one of the things that I want to work on, is having a sort of a better background for those sorts of things so that people aren't trying to identify all of my Funko Pops. Over here, I have a rather large collection of strong women Funko Pops and varying things in the background that are fun to identify.
That looks good, actually. On the podcast, it's only audio, I guess.
It is only audio. Kitty had a YouTube channel as well, but I have stuck with strictly audio. We'll see where I'm going with that. You talk about the learning curve for it, because I wanted to make sure that I had a transcript for it. And so I started off recording comments and transcribing those and then using that to do the actual recording of the podcast. And more recently, I have discovered that I can just speak freely into the microphone and then go back, and I'm a fairly fast typist, so then I can just run it at about 30 to 50% of its play speed and then just type as I go and keep up with it that way.
Nice. That's impressive. When it comes to investments, and apart from like getting this business, what resources or support has been most valuable in you growing it further?
So the course that I took with the Coaches Console, I use the Coaches Console system that will house course content. That is my CRM. That is my email management. And that is also, gosh, it's everything. It stores birthdays. It handles communications. It automates things. It handles product placement for invoicing as well. And it's all one-stop shopping. So the Coaches Console has been very valuable. I've really invested in that. I also go with a company called Corporate Communications that helps with my social media engagement and pushing social media content out there. It just seemed like a little bit too much to do all at the same time. And so Krista Vanderwalt with Corporate Communications helps me with that. That has been a very valuable piece of what I do. I invested in some good equipment, my little podcast microphone. I see you have the headphones going there, but I have this lovely little gamer microphone over here. And then just some small wackadoodle things. I have a large peep, those little marshmallow things for Easter
Hmm.
that nobody really likes, but I have a big stuffed peep and I can hold it and it helps focus the vocal tone so that I'm not resonating awkwardly. So that's just been a random odd thing there. Um, I can no longer wait for my laptop to die. I had to replace my laptop recently, and so I upgraded it quite a bit with storage and performance. So that has been very valuable.
Hmm.
And I've really enjoyed, and then I do subscribe to some things that help my clients quite a bit. So I subscribe to, of course, LinkedIn Premium. I also subscribe to JobScan. That's a really good tool to have. That's some really good data to have at your disposal because that's their whole world is collecting that data. And I think that's kind of all for now. I use open source. I use Audacity, which is free and open source for podcast editing. And then, the little things that you subscribe to push out your podcast and to your website and your hosting. Um, and the Coaches Console housed all of that. So I was actually able to go in and create my website by myself, which was empowering.
Hmm. So the Coaches Console has offered the CRM and has like the contacts, and is that like through Go High Level system or is it a different system?
It's its own system. And they actually twice a year, they just started the spring one, but twice a year they run a course to sort of give you a boot camp in business, coaching
Hmm.
businesses, and then also train you on how to really use the program. I will be going back and rewatching the lessons on how to build a course here soon now that I'm finally ready to do that and put the content in place. And so it's really valuable. I would be happy to refer some of you guys, get my own little affiliate marketing link in there. If that is something that anybody would be interested in, they're welcome to contact me and I would be happy to point them in that direction.
Totally. Thanks for that. Um, Getting back to my questions is what is something you wish you had known when you first started, like getting into this business?
I wished I'd understand the art of the close. So I started off really poorly at that because I wasn't comfortable pushing people. But it's not just pushing people. I mean, I have excellent things to work with. And I have learned that I offer a 30-day qualified money back guarantee. So people can feel comfortable expending money up front. And then by 30 days, they realize that we're going to work really well together and they're in. So I feel like that has encouraged people to participate. Whereas I'll tell them up front, if you're not coming to our sessions, if you're not doing the work, then you didn't meet the qualifications for it. And that has been really helpful because if it's not working, if it's not the kind of client that likes the way that I work, because everybody works a little, or if we're not vibing, as it were, then we can refund their money, we can shake hands, we can still be friends, and my reputation is still intact because this is very much a reputation based business. And I like to share with my clients that I'm teaching them the skills that they need that move forward because every job is temporary. There is no such thing as a permanent job, unfortunately. In the economy we're in, the world we're in, every job is just temporary.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say have been the biggest challenges that you faced in scaling this coaching business, or that you're still scaling that you're still facing today?
Well, of course, adding clients we're always looking to add some more clients here. I would like to feel I could adequately service 8 a week, and I'm not quite at that number yet. My apologies to your editor. There's just a lot going on in my backyard today.
No, it's totally
um,
fine.
let's see, recatch my train of thought here. Okay, can you re-ask the question?
Yeah, so is what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in scaling your coaching business or that you're still facing today?
Some of the biggest challenges that I had was really learning to use my tools to their best and highest function. Any tool isn't helpful if you're not using it.
Hmm.
And so You just making sure that I'm educated. I've been learning more and more about marketing. So I will be pushing more and more out there about marketing. Funnels were new to me. So it's really, I guess, again, drinking from that fire hose and learning everything quickly enough to keep up because there is no shortage of teachers who are unhappy with what they're doing and who want to go somewhere else. And it is my belief, and I will go down swinging, that with everything that we ask teachers to do on a daily basis, they have every skill for practically any job. If you're talking about any kind of white collar job, they will be one of the most valuable employees in under a year. It is routine in an education system for them to get shiny new tech every year or programs and to get very little training on it, but being expected to master it rather quickly. So they learn how to learn on their own. They met 3 people in the business world would be handling the job of what one teacher does. And they do it all the time. I worked out the math. And yes, teachers may only work 9 to 10 months a year, but they pack more hours into that time than a regular 40-hour a week does with no days off.
And do you feel that right now, when it comes to, we were talking a little bit about in the beginning that when I was doing the research paper, I found that a lot of coaches were also struggling with lead generation. When you got this business, when you took over, did you feel that that was like a challenge, or did you feel that it was already established to a point that was constantly generating leads for you?
We had lost a fair amount of momentum from the time that she retired to the time that I was able to actively take it over. We both had a very difficult 2023. I lost several family members that I was responsible for. It was just a bad year, and we were trading tragedies, it seemed like. So all of that momentum got lost, and I was a little bit like building it from scratch because, of course, physics. A body wants to stay in motion, a body wants to stay at rest. So just getting everything going again has been challenging. I'm trying to look up the name of it, which is why I'm looking over here, but there is this really interesting book called The Formula, which kind of lays out the formula for success, some of which involves those testimonials and those 5-star ratings, because once you have enough of those, Google moves you higher, and people like to cheer for the winning team. I mean, we love an underdog story, but everybody loves to cheer for the winning team. So it's very important to get that word of mouth, to get those positive testimonials and reviews, just to show that you are doing what you said that you would do.
Mm-hmm. And leaning onto that, how do you handle the balance between delivering these great client results and managing business growth on the other side?
Sometimes very poorly. Sometimes there's not much sleep, but I do love that everything is very portable so that I can take it here and work hither and yon. But it takes a lot of time. There's that wonderful meme out there that says, you know, how a business owner spends their time, and the large piece of the pie says, working on the business, and the small piece of the pie says also working on the business, but in a different color. So just everything right now that I do kind of goes back into that because it is as much a passion project as it is a career. This is something that I believe in. This is something that I believe very deeply in. And so it is something that I work very hard with my clients on. I'm also finding one of the challenges is a lot of teachers come out of the classroom carrying a fair amount of trauma and signs of varying abuses that they've endured in the classroom. And I'm not a therapist. I don't even play one on TV. But I think it's important to unpack those things and name them and to encourage them to get that help so that they can step out more confidently. When I first left the classroom, I would not have had the courage or the self esteem to have launched my own business. But after working in the world of business for a couple of years and realizing where my talents and capabilities lies, then I was able to do that. And so I've always wanted to be a coach. And so I try very hard to make sure that I am treating my clients as I would like to be treated in their shoes. And sometimes that takes a lot of time. So I work a little bit probably every day of the week, but I make sure that I also read for fun every day. Exercise is really important. The more you do, the more you can do in some respects.
Yeah. And is there any aspect of running this coaching business that would keep you up at night, figuratively?
The current economy is making it very difficult for people to transition into different careers. People are wanting folks to come out fully formed. Even sometimes my son has just graduated welding school and he's made the rounds for his stuff. And they're like, well, we really want people with experience already. And I'm like, how do they get their experience? So I think it is also maybe incumbent upon the career coaches to be doing a little bit of, maybe not marketing perhaps, but X style posts or blue sky style posts that indicate how valuable our clients can be and why if they pull someone into a career transition, that's not a bad thing. We live in a world where, like on LinkedIn, they can get millions of potential hits. They've got AI generating the job descriptions and people are using AI to write the resumes, and it's almost like humans are not even involved in the process, which has made it very frustrating and very difficult to draw those connections. But I think that it's really important to maintain that human connection. I think networking right now is the biggest piece, and getting my teachers comfortable networking is maybe a challenge as well.
Is there any final advice you'd give to other career coaches who are looking to scale their impact?
Yes, make sure that you have the education that you need to do what you need to do. Make sure that you believe in yourself. I am still betting on me. I know that I have a lot to offer, and I know that I will be able to do a great job, and I am doing a great job. And I love helping people reach their potential. That's even on my LinkedIn. That's even in my LinkedIn headline, a flair for developing the potential of others. And that has been true throughout my teaching career and into my coaching career. And to make sure that you have the tools that you need to do the job well. And if you don't even know what tools you need, find someone who's willing to chat with you and talk you through it. Because there are enough clients out there for all of us.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And for anyone who wants to find you, they can find you on LinkedIn at Vanessa Jackson. And there's also your website.
Yes, I would love to. So teachersintransition.com is my website. And if anybody wanted to book a quick little chat with me, they can just go to teachersintransition.com/calendar and they can sign up for a quick coffee chat, a virtual coffee chat. And I would be happy to share my wisdom, trade ideas, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Blue Sky at Beyond Teaching. There's a variety of ways to find me. I will make sure that you have those for your show notes.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. It's been lovely having you on the show.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.